Man, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of EOS. It's 1090 Jake, man. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on the manhunt that's going down in Florida for a man who is accused of shooting a deputy in the face, who later died 2 days after.
We now have a murderer on the loose in our community. This guy is dangerous. If you're in a home and he breaks in your home and you have a gun, blow him out the door.
Friday, September 24th at 2:30 a.m., a 29-year-old deputy in Nassau County, just north of Jacksonville, Florida, stopped a Chrysler minivan. A man sat in the driver's seat with a female in the passenger as the deputy asked for a license, which the driver didn't have, but what he did give was a fake name. The deputy ran the name, which wasn't registered to the vehicle, so we asked the driver if he had any weapons and to step out of the van. They were stopped by train tracks, the sound of the train approaching becoming louder and louder before a gunshot rang in the dark but quiet early morning. The bullet entered the deputy's face just under his right eye as he dropped to the ground, the driver then reaching out of the window, firing once more into the deputy's back. Dashcam footage from the deputy's vehicle captured the minivan speeding off as the arms of the railroad crossing came down, flashing and ringing, followed by the train. A second deputy arrived on scene, finding the sheriff's vehicle, a flashlight, and finally Deputy Joshua Myers, who lay bleeding on the ground. More backup arrived as word spread throughout the county a sheriff was down and the shooter was missing. Deputies searched the nearby area, finding the abandoned minivan and the female passenger who'd been hiding under a shed. She fully cooperated with sheriffs, telling them she told the shooter she wants no part of what happened, and she was able to leave, calling 911. More law enforcement were making their way to the area. Deputy Myers was shot in military fashion, with helicopters in the skies as canines were deployed on the ground. That's when a sheriff's canine was shot, an abandoned rifle located near the bloody dog who's expected to survive. Investigators determined the minivan the shooter had been driving was stolen out of Jacksonville, and the female passenger was able to give a name. Nassau County was now on the hunt for 35-year-old Patrick McDowell, a former Marine from Jacksonville, Florida. Records would show he'd previously been committed for psychiatric examination under the state's Baker Act and has been noted to suffer from depression, seizures, and PTSD. Back in 2018, McDowell was sentenced to probation for forgery and had previously been charged with giving a false name to law enforcement and aggravated possession of stolen firearms. The state of Florida had officially sent out a blue alert, a message to all phones in the state when a law enforcement officer is seriously hurt or killed and the suspect is still at large. Standing 6'1", 180 pounds with a tattoo over his shoulder reading "Death Before Dishonor," McDowell is considered armed, dangerous, and trained to be deadly. 48 hours had passed, the shooter still on the run, and the sheriff took to Twitter to announce 29-year-old Deputy Myers had died. His brain was dead, the bullet lodged and unable to be removed by doctors, leaving his family and fiance to make the decision on keeping his body alive so his organs can be donated. Now September 28th, 5 days into the manhunt, and McDowell is still nowhere to be found, with only a hat recovered and believed to have belonged to him. Plans are being made to reassess the search as more than 200 local, state, and federal authorities continue searching a 5-mile perimeter using drones, armored personnel carriers, helicopters, and all-terrain vehicles. A $54,000 reward is being offered leading to his capture, with a warning being issued by the sheriff for anyone considering helping the man on the run. SWAT teams would continue going door to door in nearby neighborhoods, checking on residents to make sure they're safe, while on the lookout for signs he may be hiding in one of the homes. Patrick McDowell's father would speak with a local news station, saying his son hasn't been the same since he returned from Iraq. He struggled with PTSD and self-medicated through drug abuse, but his father clarified that's no excuse for what he's done, and he hopes no one else is hurt apprehending him. McDowell, aside from his military training, also competed in shooting competitions, leaving it in the back of the minds of all officers after him that not only is he trained, he's surgical with the weapon. Now, I don't know what it is with Florida lately, but there's been like back-to-back shootings of law enforcement with videos getting released. Buddy jumped out of the car with an AI pistol, shot the officer, then came around the car and started smacking him with it. They shot him to death. And the sheriffs in Florida, I mean, I don't know about the states that y'all are from, but down in Florida, the sheriffs are like a fucking gang.
Let there be no doubt, this individual got exactly what he deserved. And to those out there who might be foolish enough to ask why we shot him so many times, that answer is simple. Because evil can never be dead enough.
You kill one of theirs, they're gonna do their best to kill you within their legal boundaries. And if they can't, when you go to prison, it's gonna be hell for you. If you're sentenced to death, you're gonna go to FSP or Union, wherever they're holding the death row people. And I mean, death row, from what I heard, actually isn't that bad. But if you're hit with second-degree murder, given a life sentence or whatever, and you're on a regular compound, they actually have more access to you to do things to you. Meaning whether you're pending transfer, you're going from here to there, they put you in the cell, they flip you, they're able to hurt you. I remember when I was in prison at Lancaster CI, I made a CO run it, I got gassed and everything. When I went all the way up to Appalachia Correctional, they checked my disciplinary reports, they asked about the situation that happened, I told them and they said, oh yeah, Sergeant so-and-so did that? Oh, I was just at his wedding last month. And I mean, they called me to come back down to the laundry room because they wanted to, whatever they wanted to do. I obviously didn't do it because I was a week from going home, and I ended up going home without getting fucked up. But if this man is found, there's a high probability that he's gonna get gunned the fuck down, and whatever excuse they come up with for shooting him most likely isn't gonna be argued. They could simply say, oh, he pulled a gun. Or he raised his hand too fucking fast and we thought he had a gun, so we shot him 600 times. And it is what it is. But if he's found alive, traditionally, like all law enforcement do, they're most likely gonna arrest him with the handcuffs of the deputy that passed. He's gonna go through court. It's probably gonna take 10 years because he's fucking psych. He's gonna do the crazy shit. And he's gonna be hit with a shitload of time, if not a death sentence. I think there needs to be some form of accountability with the government when it comes to really checking on the mental health of people that have served and come back into the country, because just going through prison, I know my mind isn't right, and I know the mind of a lot of other people that have gone through prison in very, very violent situations and violent institutions. It changes you. It does things to you. So I can only imagine what it is for the veterans that go over, fight for our country, and even if they aren't fighting, they're still witnessing death. They're smelling death. There's different senses involved. It's a lot different than watching something on the TV. The scent that comes with violence is one of the things that's always stuck with me. The smell of blood, how it smells like fucking iron. And when you do something, something is done to you that causes you to bleed excessively, that smell can stick with you for fucking days. It's the little things that happen that can change someone. And it's these things that stick and stay in your mind forever. But if people aren't checking on the people that are dealing with these types of issues, I mean, to hear that this man competed in shooting competitions while suffering with PTSD and drug abuse, guns and drugs don't go hand in hand. Guns and PTSD don't go hand in hand. I don't know who the accountability really falls on, because at the end of the day, a man makes his own decisions, but it's just a matter of could anything have been done to prevent something like this. But hey, let me know y'all thoughts and comments in the comment section. Obviously, this guy's gonna get fried, but hopefully we can come up with something in the future for other veterans to keep people from snapping and finding themselves in situations like this. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with Charlie. Y'all rocking with me. Till next time.